Our tip of the week today, and Tim, this came about because people call us all the time and they're wanting a deal when we're going out there and when properties hit the market. So today's tip is how to secure a good deal. And we need to stress that when a property hits the market, there is no chance at all in getting 50K, even maybe 30K off the purchase price day one. So listings hit the market and people, Tim, they say, oh, do you think we can get this for this amount? Because they might be just qualified up to that. And we'll be like, no.
Okay? Yeah, you got to understand that the sellers have been set up to have certain expectations by the listing realtor who says your property is going to sell for X dollars. So we'll list it at, let's say, 10 grand over that. Hopefully you'll get an offer. They're not going to say, hey, we're listing at 50,000 over. And if you get a low ball, we'll take it. So they've been set up to believe they're going to get a certain price, even though if they're not, that's what they're thinking. So that's why you can't go in at that list price.
Yeah, and Tim, you're right. The realtor will just tell them, don't take it. This is the realtor's not going to go against what he's proposed to the seller, even though they might be wrong. Tim. They might have to sit. And that's when we do get deals, Tim, is when properties sit. We just bought a property in Okotoks for Davin. He took possession on the weekend. And you know what? That property, Tim, sat for 1 year. And so we went in there and we actually got a screaming deal on this property, but it's because it sat there for so long. So what happens is the seller gets frustrated, the realtor gets frustrated. I mean, Davin went to 4 open houses, so he just kept going back. And then we went in there and we just stayed firm on a deal. And we actually, I think we got it $80,000 below where they originally listed. But we have to tell you that sometimes we're not even after, Tim, a deal. Sometimes we're after just good value. So you have to work with investment-focused realtors that can identify undervalued properties. And that's why, Tim, we've been in Okotoks lately. We've identified, we work out the expenses, the cash flow, and we understand that Okotoks has a shortage of rental properties. They actually achieve higher gross rents than they do in Calgary at the moment because of that. And you're buying at a cheaper price point, so the properties work all day long. So you have to understand that by working with someone or a realtor that does this day in, day out, there's many communities in Calgary that will achieve higher rents. One is Mackenzie Town. We're renting out a place for Cheyenne right now, and I can't believe the gross rents we're getting for a main floor, $25.50, Tim, without the garage. And people wanted this property all day long. So you have to understand that there still is hidden gems here in Calgary and that certain areas yield more rents than others.
Yeah. Another place we look for a deal to secure a deal is off-market deals. We have so many investors in our database that a lot of them come to us and they say, look, I want to sell this suite of property, but I don't want it to go on the MLS. Lots of those deals are brought to us and we pass them on to our investors. So that's not even an on-market deal.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you guys out there as investors, I mean, our investors hire us because we can manage our emotions and we can keep our investors' emotions in check. And what does that mean? You have to be able and willing to walk away from the deal. And Tim, not everyone can do that because they either find a property that they love, it's been renovated, it's in the right area. So Jim and I will run the numbers and we will just cut it off and walk away. And you have to be prepared to do that. So, you know what, at the end of the day, getting a good deal out there, is it possible? Definitely. You have to be good at negotiating. You have to stick firm. You can play around with things like the deposit or possession days to enhance your offer and make the seller go with your offer. So there are certain things you can do, but we just wanted to put this out there that getting a deal on day one that a property's been listed is very, very unlikely. You're better off going after properties that have been overpriced, and sometimes they expire. Sometimes, Tim, the seller will go with a different realtor, and then we know the seller is frustrated no matter what, and we can go in there.
Yeah, you really, really want a motivated seller. And like we said at the beginning, he's not going to be that motivated to drop his price on day one. Day 30, day 60, day 90, he may be, but you got to look out for that. And it's the number one thing you got to ask your realtor: how long has this been on the market?
Yeah. So that is our investment tip of the week. It's for the investors that are hungry for a deal. Yes, you can get good deals. You just have to have some knowledge on how to go about it and work with the pros to get it done. If that is your first Crew tip of the week, sign up to our Crew TV, subscribe. There's awesome tips on there that can help you on your investment journey.